practice graphing the cosine function in radians and in degrees. The cosine function, right? Y equals the cosine of x. We know where those ratio values are coming from, right? We start here on the x-axis, right? We go up to 90 degrees, right? Then we come down, right? And we just keep on going around in that circular motion. Okay. Well, what do we know? At 0 degrees, or at 0 radians, we know that the cosine ratio is equal to 1. So at 0, the cosine ratio is equal to 1, right? And we want to make sure that we label our axes. Okay. And when will it be equal to 1 again? Well, once I complete an entire period. Well, what's an entire period? The time it takes to make one revolution. Well, when am I equal again? At 2 pi. It's equal to 1 again. Okay. Well, what about at pi? What if I was at half a revolution? What's the cosine ratio at pi? That cosine ratio is negative 1. So at pi, the cosine ratio, negative 1. Okay. What about when I'm on the central axis? When's the cosine ratio 0? Well, if I'm up here at 90 degrees, pi over 2 radians, down here at 270 degrees, 3 pi over 2 radians, that's when the cosine ratio is 0. So that's going to be halfway between the max and the min, and then again halfway between the max and the min. Right? And then I want to draw this graph with the nice smooth curves. Don't use straight lines. A nice smooth curve, and that's what one period of the cosine function looks like. And for this one, of course, we were working in radians. Right? If we were working in degrees, the same thing. At 0, the cosine ratio is 1. Right? Make sure you label that y-axis. At 0, it's 1. At 180 degrees, negative 1. At 360 degrees, back to positive 1. Halfway between on the central axis. Halfway between on the central axis if it's the cosine ratio. So I come over here and I draw with smooth curve, right, that cosine graph. Important that I can set that up, and important that I distinguish my cosine graph from the sine graph. Cosine starts at the point 0, 1, while the sine graph would start down here at the point 0, 0. Okay? Very important that we can do those things